the largest landfill project in the history of Boston. This massive neighborhood was filled in by man. When we get out to the river, I'll show you. You're not going to believe how much earth was moved to fill in this bay in back of Boston. Is this volume okay? Am I too loud or too soft? If that changes, if you can't hear me or I'm blaring you out, please raise your hand and say down or up. Okay? Look to the left, the world headquarters of the Christian Science Church off to our left-hand side. They asked us in a tour we took there a couple years ago as duck tour drivers, the Christian Science Church, they said, can you kindly point out to everybody that we are not the Church of Scientology? A lot of people get us confused. Easy to tell the two apart. Here's something you will never hear under that dome of that church right there. Dude, I think that's Tom Cruise and John Travolta that just sat down next to us, right? Not going to happen in that building. Look to the right, the Sheraton Hotel, the largest hotel in all of Boston, 1,200 rooms. And to the left, you're not going to believe this, they have started naming hotels after that Paris Hilton girl. Can you believe that? Hilton Hotels. Get a break.
This is where we'll stay at.
We're going to take a right onto Boylston Street. When we do, I want you guys to do a quack quack. It's for the fire department, so let's make it a good one. Ready? Look to your left. All in! That fire department to our left, the Boylston Street Firehouse. It's the oldest and busiest firehouse in our city. Over 3,000 calls every year instead of that one tiny little building. And if you buy firefighter logo t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats from any of our fire departments or the little white tent in front of Faneuil Hall, every penny of profit goes back to our firefighters. So my suggestion for you as a souvenir, buy any firefighter gear. And it's almost a donation that you get something out of. You're leaving money behind for brave men and women that risk their own lives to save other people's lives, and you get a cool souvenir. So that would be my idea of a win-win, they call that, right? You look to the right-hand side, you see the Prudential Tower, 52 stories tall. It's the second tallest building in Boston. On the 50th floor is the Skywalk Observatory. It offers a 360-degree view of the city down below. North, south, east, and west. As far as your eye can see from 50 floors above our city. You can look right down into Fenway Park. You can look out to the peninsula, right? Out into the Atlantic Ocean. Going down Boylston Street. Boylston Street more or less cuts down the middle of the Back Bay neighborhood, and it's fairly famous. It's on TV every third Monday of April. That's Patriots Day in Massachusetts. What occurs on every third Monday of April? The Boston Marathon. 1897, the first Boston Marathon was run. It starts exactly 26.2 miles to our west in a town called Hopkinton. Where does it finish? Right on this yellow line across Boylston Street. This is the finish line of the oldest the most prestigious marathon run in the world today, the Boston Marathon. You just finished the Boston Marathon, you guys. We got the Boston Public Library to our right-hand side, the oldest lending library system in our nation, the very first library in our nation to hand out books on the honor system and ask that you just return them, please. Oh, great idea here. Have you seen these little rental bikes? What a brilliant idea this is. Let's rent bikes in an urban environment to people who haven't been on a bike in 35 years. And watch them text their friends with their earbuds on. Hey, you know where I am? I'm at the end of my life. That's where I am. Hang on. I'm going to turn the corner. This square to our right is called Copley Square. John Singleton Copley, famous portrait artist in the 1700s, very rich man, lived on Beacon Hill that we'll go up in a minute with the likes of the John Hancock, the richest man in all of Boston, owned a shipping company, so was able to amass a fortune when his uncle handed him off his shipping company. Now, John Singleton Copley, you'll see a portrait of a statue of the man right to our right, and facing this church, park rather, is this beautiful church to our right. It's called the Trinity Church. We'll get another look at it when we drive around the building at the end of our tour. But the Trinity Church was built in 1877. It sits in the middle of a bay that was filled in with land. So underneath that church, there are 4,502 spruce wooden pilings. To keep that building from sinking, the Trinity Church constantly floods the water table under their building. Why? To raise the water up above those pilings, those wooden pilings. Because if you keep wood submerged, it'll stay strong forever. So they do the opposite of what you would think. So their building doesn't sink. They pump water under it, you know, only because those 4,502 spruce wooden pilings hold that building up. All the buildings around us are on pilings of one sort or another, steel, concrete, wooden. maybe frames or combinations of those materials, hold all these buildings up above the old bay that was filled in by man. 1840 to 1890, we filled in this land, block by block by block. We're still on bay. Everything we've traveled on used to be water. That's why it's flat, right? You look to the left, you see a church that's home to 14 Tiffany stained glass windows. 14 priceless works of art hang to our left in the Arlington Street Church. They can never be replaced, so they have to be protected by plexiglass. Again, to the left, the Botanical Garden, known as the Boston Public Garden. The Swan Pond in the middle is home to 2 live swans every summer, Romeo and Juliet. And it's also home to that swan boat attraction you see turned in the corner. In 1877, a man named Robert Paget invents that little swan boat operation. A guy or girl sit flanked by a giant carved swan, pedal you around, give you a history of the Botanical Garden. He saw an opera in 1877, and he was inspired by the visions